What is up, strong body baddies? Happy Wednesday. Super excited to go live. Haven't done a live here in a very long time. But yeah, I want to start by saying, first of all, I have loved seeing all of you here in the accountability challenge. Just showing up, whether you're doing every single daily task or some of them, or even those of you who I know are kind of like watching and just like learning from other people and cheering them on. It's been amazing. This is my favorite thing to see, is just like women coming together and supporting each other in their fitness goals and cheering each other on and, you know, sharing, most importantly, because that can feel very vulnerable sometimes and uncomfortable, but I feel like there's so much power in coming together as a community and doing it together. So I've loved to see that. I wanted to just start by saying that. But today we're going to talk about macros, as you probably already know. So if you're watching, whether you're here on the live or you're watching the replay later, I want to start by asking, just on a scale of 1 to 5, how familiar and confident do you feel about nutrition and like your approach to nutrition for yourself? So how familiar are you? How confident do you feel in it? 1 would be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm super confused, overwhelmed. 5 would be like, I have an exact plan. I know exactly what my body needs to thrive, and I'm doing what I need to do to hit my goals. So I just want to hear, kind of gauge where everyone's at, because we do have a super good variety in this group of all different types and women at different stages, right? So again, 1 would be no idea what I'm doing. I'm lost. I'm confused. Nothing's working. I'm trying all these things. And then 5 is like, I have a plan and I'm killing it. Most of us are probably somewhere in the middle, but yeah. So why do I want to talk about macros? Why am I obsessed with it? I feel like that's important to start with that. So you might know a little bit of my journey or not, but I come from basically my personal journey with food and my body and fitness and health was really disordered to begin with. And I had like an eating disorder for a really long time, starting very young, like starting at 12, 13. And yeah, I just kind of was a sponge for diet culture, as I think all of us are in some capacity, right? Like growing up in the 80s. Long story short, I've struggled a lot with my body and with nutrition, and with having goals and having, you know, ideas in my mind, but not knowing the healthy way to get to them, right? So I was basically a victim of diet culture, as I like to call it, to be a little dramatic. But yeah, such an unhealthy relationship to food. So what really helped me personally with that is understanding nutrition, like learning about it, taking courses, reading textbooks, being certified as a nutrition coach. Because even when I was started out as a trainer, I didn't know that much about food yet. And there's so much conflicting and confusing information out there about nutrition. And we all know that, right? Like, eat this, don't eat that, stop eating by this time of day, do intermittent fasting, eat every 3 hours, take this supplement, cut that out. Like, there's just so much information. So for me personally, getting my nutrition coaching certification really changed the game, not only in being able to help my clients get better results and improve their relationship to food and their body, but my own as well, right? Because my whole life I was scared of carbs. I wouldn't eat pasta. There's a lot of things I wouldn't eat. And once I learned about macros, I was like, mind blown. And the thing about macros is it's not a diet. It's not like another method of restriction. You don't need to eliminate anything. The real power of macros is that it gives you food freedom, right? So yeah, that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I know what it's like to live in a body where I didn't feel happy and I thought I had to continually restrict myself and be really obsessive. And learning about macros just gave me the freedom to realize I can eat a donut and it's great. And it really made my approach to nutrition healthier also for my mind, right? Like, it really improved my mindset around food in general. So that's why I'm so obsessed with it. So the other thing I love about it is, again, it's not a diet. There's nothing restrictive about macros. It is just learning and understanding what does your body need to thrive? As in, how much protein do you need? How much carbs do you need? How much fat do you need? Once we can fuel our bodies properly and give them enough of the right stuff, we realize that's what it's all about, right? Like, it's not about eliminating things or restricting things. It's about adding and getting enough of what we need. So I talk about protein constantly. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. But I do want to also give like a really quick rundown of just like what are macros. Because again, some of us, I can't see the numbers that you ladies may or may not have put in, but some of us are really familiar. Some of us have no idea. So quickest rundown possible. There's 3 macronutrients. Alcohol is the 4th, but we're not going to talk about that today. So we have protein, fats, and carbs. Now, what do they do in the body? Protein is the building block of every single cell in your body. So people are obsessed with protein right now, as they should be. And I love that it's out there and we're understanding it more. But it's not just about like, ooh, you need it to gain muscle. You need it to have your hair be healthy. You need it for your eyesight. You need it for your bones. Like, we need it for all of our organs, right? It is the building block of every single cell. So I think it's important to not just look at it as muscle, fat, body composition, but like if we're building a house, protein is the foundation. Our body builds up and breaks down protein, amino acids every single day. So we need a shit ton of protein, to put it plainly. We don't have a storage system in our body for it. And that's why it is so important to like get your daily protein, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. So fats is very important for so many reasons. Hormonal health is a huge one. Helping us absorb certain vitamins is another massive one. And also just like satiety, being satisfied when you eat. Never know how to say that word. And then carbs are basically your body's preferred energy source. To put it really quickly, you need fats and protein from your diet. You cannot make them yourself. Really cool. We can create our own form. Like, we don't need carbs. We can actually create them in our body. So that's why people can be keto, right? They can be carnivore. However, carbs are your body's preferred source of energy. So it's the easiest, quickest, preferred way of getting it. And that's why I love on carbs. And I think carbs are delicious, satisfying, and comforting. And convenient. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If you still feel like I still don't understand macros or what they really mean, or like which food fits into which category, I have a guide that is super helpful for that, that breaks down like, these are your best protein sources, these are your best carb sources, these are your best fat sources. So if you want that, just put macro in the comments and I will send you that guide. Yeah, but that's kind of like the quick and dirty version. Yes. So just looking at my notes here. Yeah, if we want to know, because a lot of us want to know what is our calorie goal. So I feel like we also need to talk about that today. And there's a lot of apps out there for macros, but what I've noticed in conversations with clients or on intake calls and stuff, with different women is like, a lot of women have tried different trackers, but they're still confused as hell about macros, right? So I do want to talk like about some of the nitty gritty stuff, hopefully clear it up. Cause some of those apps, like I'll just say MyFitnessPal as an example, you download it, it gives you a calorie goal. You try to aim for that number. You still have no idea why that number is the way it is. So I'm going to kind of get into that today too. What your goal should actually be. There can be a huge range, right? Like some people are told to eat 1,100 calories a day, or you download a different tracker, or you talk to a coach or whoever and they're like, eat 2,000. So it's like, that's a massive range. How do you know what you actually need? So we're going to talk about that today. And the app that I recommend and the app that I use with my client, I'll tell you guys about that at the end. But yeah, so how do we quickly, right now, if you're watching this, how can you calculate your calories? I'll give you a very simple way to do it. And it's a starting point, okay? So what you're gonna do is take your body weight in pounds and then times it by 15. Okay, so if you're doing it right now or not, so you times it by 15, that is gonna give you a ballpark maintenance calories. So that's gonna basically give you your body weight times 15. That's the number of daily calories that you would need to maintain your current weight. And then from there, you're going to either, if you're using a tracker, you're going to track at maintenance calories, or if your goal is weight loss, you want to track at a deficit, meaning less, right? Or if your goal is to gain muscle, gain lean body mass and be stronger and fitter and actually have, more strength, then maybe you want a surplus. So again, just body weight by 15. Now, if we're going for a deficit, which a lot of you ladies in this group I know are kind of on the fat loss journey right now, you want to do about 300 to 500 minus from that number. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So again, just your weight times 15. If you want a deficit, go 300 to 500. I would say start at 300. And if you guys want to share that number with me, go ahead, like put in the comments or not. You don't have to. And again, that's just a starting point. So what I would do with that current number, put it into the tracker. Track for like a week to 2 weeks. Just put your food in there. Don't worry too much about everything, all the details, and just see if that's kind of where you're eating at. Look to find your maintenance calories. If it's a deficit and you put it in, see what happens in 2 weeks, right? It might take a little bit longer, but we have to kind of be open to trial and error or playing around and figuring it out. However, if you're in Saskatoon and you want the number, come see me and get a body scan because the body scan will tell you your BMR and it is going to be 100% accurate because it is based on your muscle mass. So this is the other thing I wanted to throw in. When you're calculating your calories, it's going to be a little different for everyone. So the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism. So people that come in and they do the body scan with me and they've been working out for a long time, or they used to dance, they were an athlete, they just have a lot of muscle, they're going to have a way higher metabolism than someone who has been chronically dieting, under eating protein, not strength training, not doing resistance training. And that person that hasn't been eating the protein and doing things to build and maintain muscle, their metabolism is going to be way lower. So even if you're at the same weight, your metabolism is 100% based on your muscle. So I just want to add that in. And that's, all I talk about is muscle and protein. But yeah, that's why we need to eat enough too. So we need to, even if your goal is fat loss, you don't want to be under your BMR. You don't want to take the biggest deficit you can, even though I know it is so tempting, right? When you are focused and you have a goal, it is so tempting to be okay, I'm just going to skip breakfast. I'm just going to eat as little as possible. But that is just slowing your metabolism, right? And I talk about this a lot in my content. So you've probably heard me say this before, but really everything comes down to muscle. And again, that's why protein is so important. So it's not just important because it's the building block of every cell, but it is what protects your metabolism and your hormones and keeps you lean, okay? So I just want to throw that in there. So anyways, if you're in Saskatoon, you should come see me for a body scan. If you haven't yet, the really cool thing about the body scan, also, side note, is usually you're going to be allowed, or I shouldn't say allow because that's a terrible word, but usually you will be surprised at how much calories you actually need. We often think we need some super low number. And in reality, again, depending on your muscle, you probably need way more calories than you think. And again, to still see results and lose weight. So I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but yeah, do that calculation. If that number is higher than you thought, just from doing that calculation that I just told you, it's right. It's probably right. And again, just put it into the tracker. The tracker that I recommend is Chronometer. If you've worked with me before, I know some of you on this live have. You've probably used Chronometer. It is amazing. But yeah, try that one out. I recommend it more than MyFitnessPal. Not that I hate MyFitnessPal, but Chronometer is just, to me, it's more user-friendly. And it gives you way more information about your actual health. So yeah, Chronometer, Chronometer. Track for a couple weeks and see if your weight stays the same, or if you gain weight, or if you lose weight. And again, scale weight isn't everything. So also just pay attention to how are your clothes fitting? Maybe take some progress pictures if you really want to nail down your exact, maintenance calories or your exact deficit. So I hope that makes sense. And the reason also that you don't want to do a very strict deficit is when we over restrict, you're going to swing the other way. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to have more cravings. Our body wants fuel. Our body thrives with being fed properly. When we cut our calories too low, yeah, you may lose a ton of weight, but you're guaranteed losing muscle along with fat. You're downgrading your metabolism, but also you're going to feel like a maniac and you're probably going to crave a lot of stuff. So don't do the 1200 calorie deficit, even if that's what MyFitnessPal gives you. Unless you're like 4'10", then maybe you need 1200 calories. But I hope this is making sense so far. I tend to just start rambling. So let me know if this is making sense. If you have questions, just put them in the comments. I can't see them right now, but I will see them after. And if you want that body scan also, let me know and I'll hook you up. So next point is when we're tracking or when we have, goals of fitness, fat loss, muscle gain, there's kind of two things we need to focus on. Again, I just want to give you something simple that makes sense that you can start doing today. Because there's so much information and we're told that we need all these crazy things and supplements and detoxes, and no, we need to get results. We need the appropriate amount of calories. So again, if the goal is fat loss, you need a deficit, and we need to hit our protein. Now, if you do those two things, nothing else matters. Literally, nothing else matters. Those are the two things that are going to give you results. So don't worry about eating this specific food, cutting this specific food out. It doesn't matter. If you're eating a donut every single day, but you're hitting your protein and you're in a deficit, you are going to lose weight. Okay? Not saying you should eat a donut every day, but I need to eliminate some of the BS around that. Okay? Your body doesn't care. Calorie is a calorie. Yes, it is. 100%. However, macros do matter beyond that. So once we're kind of hitting the appropriate amount of calories, we need to get enough protein. The quickest way to figure that out is your desired body weight in grams of protein. So say you're 200 pounds and you want to be 160, just for an example, you need 160 grams of protein to hit that. And again, calories matter. So those are the two things to focus on. And why? Why do we love protein so much? I already kind of talked about it. But if we're coming just from a fat loss perspective, you are going to be so full, okay? You don't need an appetite suppressor, all these stupid things that people sell. You just need to eat enough protein and you will be so full. It's so simple. Honestly, I'm just eat protein, but for real. And my clients know this, and this is why I love seeing these changes happen with the women that I work with, because 99% of women who come to me, who started on this journey, are not eating enough protein. So instead of me being hey, why don't you cut out your coffee, your Starbucks, this, that, eat less rice, I'm let's just focus on hitting this protein goal and watch everything else magically work itself out. And it truly does. And that might sound too good to be real, but this is just the science of nutrition, right? And this is what we're not taught. We're taught we need to restrict, we need to cut out, we need to be scared of certain foods. No, we just need to give our bodies what they need to thrive and watch everything else fall into place. So if you are having wicked cravings at night, if you're prone to binging, if you're just emotional eating all the time, it could be that these things are wired in their patterns. And yes, you've been doing it for a decade possibly, but I'm pretty sure once you start eating enough protein and giving your body nourishment, all of those other things will go away. I promise you. So a lot of times we're why am I craving sugar? Why am I craving chips? It's well, your body's starving, right? Your body is undernourished and it needs protein. It needs the building blocks. It needs the thing that it's building and breaking down every single day, right? So it's craving chips because they're quick, easy, fast energy, but what it really wants is a hunk of chicken, right? Or cottage cheese. It wants protein. I can promise you that. So I just want to drive that home too, is we all kind of know that we need more protein, but it's like when you realize the instant benefits that you're gonna see from it, it's more enticing to actually do it. So you're gonna feel like, okay, let me back it up. How much protein do you need per meal? 35 grams, one fist size, okay? So if you start eating a decent breakfast with a ton of protein, for example, you're gonna notice like, hey, my energy's way more stable. I'm not craving things. Maybe someone brings in sweets to work. You actually don't even want them. Like these are all the side effects of just giving your body that protein and giving it consistently throughout the day. So that is why I'm so obsessed with it. Because it works. It's like the magical little game changer, but it's just like, oh, who knew that our body just needed amino acids, right? Like it's not sexy, but it is so important. And people try to make it like so complicated. I'm like, no, just eat protein. Yeah. So anyways, sorry if I'm repeating myself a little much. I hope this is making sense and clicking. And then lastly, like if our two focuses are calories and protein, carbs and fats, do they matter? How much do you need? Honestly, they do not matter for results nearly as much as those two, protein and calories. The more active you are, the more that you will thrive with more carbs. But if you're using a tracker like Chronometer, don't even worry about carbs and fats at this point. If you are new to this, honestly, let them fall where they may. If you tend to eat like, more animal products like meat and dairy and stuff, you're going to probably have higher fats naturally. If you're vegan, vegetarian, or you eat more plant-based, you're going to have higher carbs, right? That's just kind of those foods and where it all goes. But as long as you are like not going over that daily calorie target, let the fats and carbs do what they want. That's my advice on that. The third thing to worry about after calories and protein is fiber. So the easiest way and the most, for me, best way to think of fiber is like fruits and veggies, right? Just get color on your plate. Like if we just want to like skip this whole talk and I just give you advice today, every time you eat, get protein and some color. And by color, I mean like green, right? Like some leafy greens, some broccoli, or I mean like purple cabbage, or like carrots. Like it doesn't matter what color. Well, it does. You should get all the colors, but just get some colorful veggies and fruits on your plate and eat protein. And again, fiber and protein are the most filling, satisfying foods. So yes, they are for health. Most importantly, they are for thriving health. But they are also just to satisfy you. Like if fat loss is the goal, you want high volume, high nutrient dense, but lower calorie foods. That's your proteins, fruits, veggies. I hope this makes sense. Again, if you just want the goods, download Chronometer, track your desired body weight in grams of protein, and go from there. And you'll be pleasantly surprised, honestly, at the results. Yeah, so I hope this was helpful. I feel like I went on some random tangents, but that's what I do. But if you want more info on the macro guidebook, or like I also have a protein handbook, a lot of you ladies already have it. They're both very like good resources, just breaking down. So like more, what are macros? What are the best choices? How do I actually realistically get more protein? So just put macro in the comments and I'll send you the macro one, or put protein in the comments. Yeah. And I think that's all I got. If you have questions, ask away. If you want the most like accurate, what does my body need for a deficit, come book a body scan with me. Honestly, it'll be super helpful. Like everyone who's come in and done one has been like pumped to see it. And again, pleasantly surprised that you need more food than you think. So it's very, very cool. It's $55 for the body scan. It breaks down your muscle, your fat, the ratios, where they should be ideally for health. And then it gives us your BMR. So again, we can figure out your exact calories that you need, whether you want to build muscle, lose fat, maintain, and just feel really good. So it's just like, yeah, it's all facts, no fluff. That's kind of how I like to be. So if you want the scan, put scan in the comments and I'll give you the info on that. Yeah, so I hope this was helpful. Love seeing you ladies show up in this group. It's a ton of fun for me. So keep showing up, keep asking questions. And I'm here to support you. Like if you have questions, whatever it may be, you need a kick in the bum, I can do that too. Okay, so have a beautiful day. Thanks, ladies.